My name is Joseph Saldana, and I know what it takes to make it in real estate. I had 2 mortgage companies till the market crashed and I lost it all. But I didn't lay down and give up. I got back on my feet, got my real estate license, and built my business, Next Home, from the ground up. But I didn't do it alone, and now my daughter Gabby is working her way up the family business.
This is the Like Father, Like Daughter podcast.
Hey everyone, this is Joseph. This is my daughter Gabriella, and this is the very first Like Father,
Like Daughter podcast.
And our very first guest is Long Island real estate royalty, handsome homebuyer. Thank you for being here, brother. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it. We got to keep this flow going, man. You're on my podcast. Now we have a deal. Now I'm on yours. What happens next?
Yeah, the universe is kind of just like working with us.
Hopefully now you guys get a deal. You call me. We do it together.
Yes.
Videos, just craziness, and we blow it out.
Content, lots of
We're
content.
just going to keep it flowing. But thank you for having me. It's great to see you guys.
I know you're a busy dude, and being on your podcast, your team was phenomenal. I want to shout out Levy and Emily. They did a great job.
Yes.
Great job. They really did.
Thank you. No, I appreciate it. And again, I appreciate the nod, the royalty nod, because again, as we talked about on my podcast before, I've been in the game for 6 years. When I first got in, I came and met you, and you were the guy. I was like, this is the REO guy. This is the guy with the key to all the good stuff. And I remember pulling up on my motorcycle at the time, and you were standing there with like another agent, and there was just like there was probably like 2-3 dozen investors like running into this place.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it was like and then everything comes full circle.
That was when you were a little handsome.
That's when I was.
Were you handsome yet? Did you have the handsome homebuyer tagline then?
No, that didn't come in until like I was doing the 6 years. That didn't come in until probably like year 2.
Okay.
Didn't come until year 2. And now
That was the problem.
What is the story behind
Handsome
the
homebuyer.
name?
So I have a friend who's actually a very handsome man. Like I can get away with saying it because I'm just like a normal guy. So, but I have a friend who's like 6'4". He looks like Christian Bale in American Psycho. You ever see that movie?
Yeah.
So he calls himself the world's most handsome man. He has a shirt that says world's most handsome man. He has 2 sons. They have shirts that say world's most handsome babies. He really he believes it, but he is. He's a good looking guy.
Yeah.
So he calls everybody handsome. So when he was handsome. So when I was thinking, like, how do I brand this thing so people remember me? I'm like, oh, the handsome homebuyer. It rhymes. It's perfect. And my girlfriend at the time was like, what kind of a vain a-hole calls themselves the handsome homebuyer? Like, you can't call yourself the handsome homebuyer. That's ridiculous. I'm like, it's gonna work because like I always say, I'm like a soft 6. Right? Looks wise, my personality brings me up, but people are gonna remember it. And today, nobody even knows my real name. Like if you say, hey, you know Charles Warren, like who's that? Like, you know the handsome homebuyer? Oh,
Yeah, that's actually true though.
yeah, it works. So it stuck.
I remember when she was at the North Shore Young Professional. She sent me a
Yeah,
text.
that was like
Handsome is here.
That was like my first real estate event, and I'm like, I think he's here.
Which one, was that the one in Patchogue?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
I love those.
and we
things.
like just had a deal with you in Patchogue.
Yes, Conklin.
Yes,
That was a great one.
It was.
And
Good one.
and you know, kudos to you. Like you guys, there's very few agents. Like obviously, I deal with a lot of agents. Not all agents are created equal. Not all loan offers. Not all investors are created equal. But you guys do an amazing job. Like there's certain agents that I know that like I'll give the nod to on even if it's less money in certain cases because you know it's going to be like a smooth, quick, easy.
Absolutely.
Like you said to me, like my deals always close, bro. Like fact, like
Yeah.
fact.
They don't
fact.
die. They don't die. Because we do the heavy lifting in the front,
Yeah.
in the beginning. I don't want to throw shit on your wall, you know? And that's what a lot of agents do that. They just, deals fall apart because they're not doing that heavy work in the beginning.
Yeah.
Making sure they're approved, going through everything. And this is for your own self also. I don't want you guys driving around, my agents driving around, wasting gas, wasting time,
Yeah, but
high value tasks.
So this is why like you stand the test of time. You know, people come in and out. There's 30,000 real estate agents. People come in, people come out, right?
Yeah.
2% of all the realtors do, the overwhelming majority of the business. There's a reason why you were like, I mean, you've been in the game for.
Since 08, real estate agent, 08,
Yeah.
mortgage business since 2000.
That's what I'm saying.
2000 to 07, everything went to shit in 07. Got my license in 08, and just been off to the races since then.
Yeah, so there's a reason.
Yeah.
You run a tight ship. Like agents have to realize a lot of people see being as agents, they're like, this is great. I'll make big checks. I can come and go as I please. Like, it's hard. It's hard to get the deals, approved. It's hard to get the sellers, and you have to be like a self-motivating person. You're running your own business.
Yeah.
You're running your own business.
That's right.
Yeah, for sure. Like
Really
you're not getting
individual agents.
paid if you're not hustling.
No, and no one's telling you to wake up at
Yeah.
whatever time and you know, make the calls and make the rounds. Like you have to be a self-starter. If you're not a self-starter, it's not going to work.
For sure.
But it's still the greatest business in the world.
It is. And my friend, my buddy JB said it's the cheapest business to start.
Cheapest business to start.
Right? He's
Hands
right
down.
about that.
Hands down.
JB, the old, the wise one. So your quest for 200, how's that going?
200. It's coming. It's going to be. It's either going to be this year or next year. Depends on how these big subdivisions fall.
Okay.
I originally thought I think next year. Just forget about the volume, from a volume standpoint, because we're building out all the components to do it. Like if you want to do 200 houses in New York on Long Island,
Yeah.
you have to be doing everything. So like I'm building an in-house call center. We have like, you know, the social media team popping off. We're building tons of relationships. Like, you know, if you don't have deals coming in from every possible angle, you're not going to do it. So we're doing subdivision, new construction houses. We're doing these new 3D printed houses.
Yeah.
We're flipping houses. We're doing rentals. But the market also kind of has to align for you in a certain way. Obviously, the moratorium changed the dynamic. Like it made it harder to buy houses.
Yeah.
People aren't getting evicted. People aren't getting foreclosed on. Now they are, but I don't think the world has realized it yet. Like, I don't think the world has realized, like, oh, I'm going to get foreclosed on. I haven't paid my mortgage in 6 years. It's go time again. I think people are still sleeping.
Yeah.
I think the second half of this year, once it starts, like, you see it in the press, people will start to realize. And then I think next year it'll open up for more opportunity.
Sure.
So, but so far it's going good, man. I got, I have like 40 new construction homes, just new construction homes booked for this year already.
That's great.
Hopefully the permits come through, which they should, and just a ton of other stuff. Very
So
cool.
we need to sell 40 new construction homes.
40 new construction homes. Get ready. Get ready.
Your, I see you talk about doing 50 different things, right? Give someone that's looking at you that wants to be an investor, a flipper, give them 3 things that they should be doing right from the get.
So I'm like, oh, you have to do 50 different things consistently well all the time, right?
Yeah.
So it really depends. I mean, it depends on what you want this business to be, right? The cool thing about real estate is it could be anything you want. It could be huge. It could be the ultimate side hustle,
Yeah.
or it could be like you want to be like me and be a maniac and
Yeah. Yeah. Someone that
Right.
wants to, that sees you, that wants to be. I want to be Charles. I want to be handsome.
careful what you wish for. Careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
You know, the first thing is you really need the education, right? Education is paramount. This is from
Yeah.
somebody who barely got out of high school, right? So education can mean a lot of different things. It doesn't have necessarily mean you have to go to school, but
Yeah.
you need to know what you're doing. Like I have people DM me all the time. They're like, I'm ready to do my first deal. I'm like, great. They're like, my parents gonna lend me money or whatever. I was like, that's awesome. I was like, how much education do you have? They're like, well, I've watched some YouTube videos. Like,
Follow
Yeah.
people on Instagram.
like I spent 3 years training under Carl Chavone,
Yeah.
literally 7 days a week, actively working before I was ready to make it an offer. And then it took me a year to get my first house.
Wow.
And this was, you know, this isn't, now it's very, very hard. This was when it was a little bit easier.
Yeah.
It took me a year of
Yeah,
making
forget it
offers
now,
to
it's-
get my first house. So just to put, you know, and then in the last 5 years, I've done over 400 houses, but just to put it in perspective. So you need that education, spend the time up front, invest in the time, because you'll do way better later.
Correct.
So there's that. And then second, the network, right? Like the network is super important. A lot of guys do like mailers, or they have cold calling, or whatever it is. For me, I went to the network. So I would go out to all those events and meet all the agents.
Yeah.
And then they turn into like referrals for you, and it never stops,
Good.
right? Just as long as you like maintain those relationships, the deals always come in. The deals always come
Yeah.
in. Your referral partners. And then, you know, just really going out there and being a good person and trying and reinvesting in your business and helping people. Like, I built a business based off of just helping people and constantly like helping the people that bring me business and just constantly giving my time, taking every meeting, dreaming up interesting ways. Like social media has been great for me because it allows me to come up with cool concepts on how I can work with agents and, you know, better their career, give them more exposure, create a bond between the two of us.
Yeah.
So that's what I
You
would
do that very well.
Thank you.
And I mean, one of the reasons why we're here is because of the network.
Yeah.
Our networking. You know, we put deals together because of our relationship.
100%.
That's very important.
And that's a big deal. Like I said, like, you know, we got like 4 or 5 offers first day on the market with that house. You call me, it's a very different ballgame.
It's different.
Very different ballgame.
Did the C part, you know, when I called?
Part to see,
Yeah.
like Moses
Yeah.
coming through. It's like, all right,
I
that's
saw
a-
your sign on the lawn, and I was like, oh my gosh, this could work.
We're getting this.
Yeah.
We know
Yeah.
the guy.
And then she walked in, and it just like all made sense. I
Yeah.
was like, this could work.
The guys
Yeah.
work really. The guys work really, really hard, and that one came out really nice.
So nice.
I'm glad.
Really, really nice.
So you definitely. I get a question a lot. Do I need my real estate license to flip houses? You don't need it,
No.
but I always say you should get your license. You know, how do you feel about that?
So,
To me, it's part of the education part, but you know.
so it's like you need having your real estate license as a house flipper actually gives you like a certain level of like exposure and responsibility because you have the license, which isn't a great thing.
Yeah.
You need access to the information.
Correct.
So, like, I never had my license, but you know, my ex was an agent, so I could get into her stratus. And then my
Yeah.
dad is an agent, I can get into his stratus. You absolutely need access to the information. Like,
Yes.
most, and this is not disrespectful to any agent at all, but most investors are like, you know, I went to the agent said it's going to sell for $400 to $450, and it's like, bro, first of all, it's not the agent's responsibility to tell you what it's going to sell for.
Yeah.
A. B, if you don't know what it's going to sell for, like when I have a house, I'm like, it's going to sell for $425, period, not a range, and then I back my numbers out from there.
Yeah.
The agent has no idea who you are, what kind of work you're going to do, right? They don't know what kind of construction you're going to do. Are
Yeah.
you opening this up? What level of finishings? How much money you're putting into it? There's no way the agent is supposed to know, and it's not their responsibility.
That's right.
So until they have a relationship with you where they know exactly what you're going to do, they're not in a position to be able to tell you what it's worth. That's on you. And if you don't have access to the information, you're not going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
So you need, if you can't get access to Stratus, you need geodata or something like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Is the information, and the networking part of it too, because then you know who's out there. You know who are the agents out there that are doing the business, and if you're looking at a house or an area, then you can kind of focus on that.
Yeah.
So I definitely agree with that. You know, not necessarily being an agent, but having that information.
Yeah, and I didn't know about the liabilities that come with the licensing until
Yeah.
like, relatively recently.
Yep.
But you need access to the information. You have to.
It is. I mean, you're different. You're not. You know, I'm the owner broker of Next Home. So for me, for my age, I have agents out there that are out there without me. So if they do something, it falls on me, right? On your end, it's
Yeah,
different
yeah, it's
because
true.
what you're doing is a little bit different. But
Yeah,
yeah,
no, that's true.
there is an exposure there, you know. But you know, that's where education comes in, common sense. You know, one of the agents was posting something yesterday. It was super funny. She passed it by me first, gave the okay. But if it was different, if it was more specific to the person, then it would be, hey, don't do that.
Yeah, no.
You know, but yeah, Gabby is a little bit concerned about you. She says you're working too hard, and she thinks that you don't give enough handsome time. You don't give
Is that
enough.
true, Gabby? Is this true?
Yeah.
So is handsome time vacation time? What is handsome time?
Like for yourself, like self-care.
You're like a concerned sister. You're like, I'm worried about this guy. He's gonna keel over at
No,
his
because
desk.
your Instagram, everything is like work, work, work. But like, what do you do for you?
All right, so there's like kind of two prongs with that, right? I don't like social media.
Really?
I think it's a bad thing. It's amazing because it makes me money and brings me deals and relationships and all that. So it's fantastic. If I didn't use it for my business, I wouldn't have it. I feel like it's a very unhealthy thing.
It's addicting.
It's addicting, it's time wasting, if you don't have a very strong mindset, you know, you think everybody else's life is amazing, and
definitely.
you know, every guy is super shredded and all that, but in actuality, in real life, they're not.
The filters are crazy.
It's all smoke and mirrors, so I don't think it's healthy. So I don't share personal stuff on my Facebook
Okay.
for that reason, for social media. You are right. I definitely need more
Handsome time.
Handsome time. I kind of like that saying, handsome time. I happen to have a very addictive personality by nature. I come from a family of addicts, mostly gambling, right? So I don't gamble, I don't drink, I don't do drugs. I've never done anything because I know that I have an addictive personality.
Okay.
And if I were to go down that road, I would get hooked on it. So like I'm hooked on work. Like work is fun for me. That's my job. That's like my current addiction. The way my personality also works is that when I get something to the point of where I feel like I've mastered it, and then I lose interest and move on to the next addiction, whatever
Right.
that is. So I was a competitive surfer when I was younger. I was a travel ice hockey player when I was younger. Now I'm, real estate. When I do the 200 houses, I'll be like, okay, I'm bored of this. I want to do something else. That's how I operate.
Right.
But yeah, I can't shut it off.
I mean, it's not a bad thing.
I don't know. I don't know.
But
I go
it
back
could
and
be a
forth.
bad thing, I guess.
I go back and forth sometimes on it. I
Is
don't
there
know.
is there a Mrs. Handsome in the horizon?
Nah.
No. Okay. I think we
I
gotta
don't know,
work on
dude.
that.
I'm telling you, Gary Vee broke up with his wife, and now I feel like there's no hope for me. I feel like
Gary Vee.
I feel like I'm screwed. No
You know,
judgment on Gary Vee. I love him, but
That was going to be the first thing that I told him when I saw him. You know, hey, you got to get on my boy's podcast. But now it's, I don't know.
When
No,
when
no,
were
I
you
love
going
him.
to
I
see
love him.
Gary Vee?
Whenever I saw him.
No, and no judgment for him. Listen, that's not, his personal life is his personal life. But for me, just and this doesn't. I don't think any less of him as a result of this. But it actually kind of shook me because I'm like, I work 18 hours a day. I work 7 days a week. I'm like, is there a woman that can tolerate me? Like I always say, I'm a very hard person to date. Like I don't know. If, I'm a difficult person to date. I'm wound up. I'm always going. I work like 7 days a week, or at least 6.5 days a week. Is there a woman that can tolerate me and understand, and we still have this, whatever our balance is, right?
Right.
And I would look at him and I was like, he's got it, right? And then for whatever reason it didn't work out, and then I'm like, I'm screwed. Like
I wouldn't give up.
He was
Handsome.
my last.
There's
he
a
was,
person for
He
everybody.
was my last hope,
You might have to go to Italy like Michael Corleone and get your wife.
or Jerusalem. No, I could go either way, right? I'm half and half. I'm half
Yeah,
Sicilian. half
you can
Jewish.
go to both of them. You can go to I wouldn't go to Israel right now, but I would probably go to Italy first.
It's hard. Like I don't know. I put that video up. I'm an addict. Did you guys see that?
No.
I put up a YouTube video at the end of last year called "I'm an Addict," and it's like 90 seconds of like very personal, you know, I'm an addict in regards to work.
Okay.
And when I think about my life later on, what will I regret? What would I have missed out because I'm working all the time? You know, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Like, what do you give up to achieve a certain level of success?
Okay. Yeah. You do give up a lot.
Yeah.
You give up a lot. Yeah. Listen, we can do this all day. So I want to say thank you again for coming. Truly appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Hopefully you come back and we could, continue, see how your project is going, the 25 3D printing homes.
It's coming.
That's the
Hanson's Way, bro. I get my own street.
That's right, Hanson's Way.
Hanson's Way.
Can't wait to see you cut that ribbon.
Thanks, man.
But thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man.
Always great
Thank
to see
you.
You're a gentleman.
Yes. And let's put that deal together.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching Like Father, Like Daughter podcast. We'll see you next time.